Welcome back, my fellow West Ham supporter. Go ahead and drop a like, share this video, and subscribe to our channel. That helps strengthen the claret and blue chain, making our club bigger and stronger every day. Something felt different after West Ham's stunning win over Newcastle. It wasn't just the scoreline, nor the comeback. It was what happened afterwards, inside the dressing room. Cameras caught a curious moment that had everyone talking. Someone appeared in the middle of the celebrations, someone no one expected to see there. And that unexpected visitor became the perfect symbol of the new spirit Nuno Espirito Santo has been trying to build at the club. Before that night, West Ham looked lost. Defeats had piled up, confidence had collapsed, and the season seemed to be falling apart. The losses to Brentford and Leeds had exposed a team short on depth and direction. Nuno's constant changes, bold, risky, and often confusing, made him look like a man still searching for answers. Questions about his future were growing louder by the day. So when Newcastle arrived, few gave West Ham any chance. Eddie Howe's side came to East London full of confidence, having won 3 in a row, powerful and aggressive as ever. It looked like another nightmare waiting to happen. But football has a strange way of surprising people. What unfolded on the pitch at the London Stadium was nothing short of transformation. Despite conceding early, West Ham refused to crumble. They fought, pressed, and showed a courage that had been missing for months. The 3-1 victory didn't just bring relief. It breathed life into a season that was gasping for air. More importantly, it showed that this team still had fight left in it. From the moment he arrived, Nuno has preached one word: unity. He's repeated it in every interview, every team talk, that rebuilding starts in the dressing room, not on the tactics board. It's an idea deeply rooted in West Ham's identity, especially during the years under David Moyes, when team spirit was everything. That sense of togetherness was the foundation of the club's best moments. Against Newcastle, you could see glimpses of it returning. Even after a cruel start, hitting the post and conceding seconds later, the team kept their composure. When the goals came, the celebrations were raw, full of emotion, as if every player understood what it meant. The fans had been waiting months to see that again, players playing for each other, not just for survival. But the real picture of West Ham's rebirth came after the final whistle. Inside the dressing room, there was laughter, shouting, singing, the kind of noise that had disappeared in recent weeks. And in the middle of it all, a figure appeared. A familiar face, but one that shouldn't have been there. When fans saw who it was, it all made sense. It was Ollie Scarles, the young full-back who'd been sidelined with a serious injury. He walked into the dressing room with his arm strapped in a sling, but his face lit up with joy. He celebrated like he had just played the full 90 minutes. That single moment summed up exactly what Nuno has been trying to create: a team that feels like a family. Scarles could easily have stayed home, frustrated and forgotten. His last start had ended in pain. Thrown out of position on the right side, he'd fallen awkwardly in the defeat to Leeds and fractured his collarbone. Surgery followed, months of recovery ahead. Yet there he was, smiling, celebrating, belonging. The video released by the club spread quickly among fans. It wasn't just heartwarming, it was symbolic. It showed that, finally, something was changing in East London. Even an injured teenager wanted to be part of the fight. In a world where players often isolate themselves, that kind of unity means everything. In the end, that night wasn't only about beating Newcastle. It was about rediscovering what makes football matter, the sense that everyone counts, that no one is left behind. And if even a 19-year-old with a broken shoulder can celebrate like that, maybe West Ham have found something stronger than tactics or form. Maybe, at last, they've found their heart again. Before we carry on, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. This is really important because it strengthens the claret and blue family, making our West Ham bigger and stronger every day. A West Ham United player has revealed the emotional secret behind their vital victory over Newcastle, and it all started before a single ball was kicked. 4 managers had tried and failed to light a fire under this team in the last 22 months. But Nuno Espirito Santo seems to have found the spark that everyone else missed. Since January 2024, West Ham have been spiraling downwards at alarming speed. 17 wins in 66 Premier League matches tell the story of a club running out of answers. After the slow decline under David Moyes, both Julen Lopetegui and Graham Potter came and went without leaving a mark. There were flashes, the odd result that gave fans hope, but they always faded quickly. The club had lost motivation and identity. When Nuno arrived, his challenge was clear: to find a way to reconnect a squad that had stopped believing. At first, there were positive signs. Performances against Everton and Arsenal suggested progress, but defeats to Brentford and Leeds reignited doubts. Criticism grew louder, and rumors started to spread that Nuno was already considering walking away, frustrated by the chaos around him. Yet inside the club, senior figures backed him completely, convinced he was the right man to rebuild West Ham. It was that belief that gave him the confidence to try something bold before the Newcastle match. With the team sitting in the relegation zone and no one giving them a chance, Nuno decided that words weren't enough. He needed to show his players what unity truly meant. When the players arrived at the London Stadium dressing room, they found the walls covered with photos, their own faces from childhood, pictures of them as kids, smiling, playing football with bright eyes and muddy knees. The message was clear: remember why you started. Remember the joy. It sounds simple, but it worked. The atmosphere changed instantly. Laughter replaced tension. Players joked about haircuts and awkward smiles, but behind the fun was something deeper: connection. That wall of photos became a mirror of who they really were, long before pressure and criticism took over. El Hadji Malik Diouf later revealed the story to the world. He posted an image of the photo wall on his Instagram stories with the caption, "Well done, lads, +3 points." His post went viral among West Ham fans, who instantly understood what had changed that night. And when the match kicked off, it showed. Even when Lucas Paqueta hit the post and Newcastle scored immediately after, heads didn't drop. Even when a penalty for a foul on Jared Bowen was overturned by VAR, they kept fighting. Paqueta then scored a thunderbolt to bring the team level, before a Sven Botman own goal, following great work from Aaron Wan-Bissaka, turned the game around. West Ham were dominant. Freddie Potts saw a third goal ruled out by VAR due to Thomas Soucek's toe being just offside, but Soucek made up for it later, bundling home a late third to seal a first home win since February. And when the final whistle blew, those photos were still on the dressing room wall, waiting for the players as they came back in, grinning, exhausted, and proud. They looked at their younger selves again, and for a moment, it felt like every one of them had made that kid in the photo proud. For the first time in nearly 2 years, West Ham looked like a team with a heartbeat. It wasn't about tactics or systems anymore. It was about spirit. And that spirit began with one simple human idea. Before we carry on, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. This is really important because it strengthens the Claret and Blue family, making our West Ham bigger and stronger every day. There are moments in football when victory means far more than the scoreline. It isn't just about who scored, who assisted, or who saved. It's about the feeling that transforms a team and makes people believe again. What Nuno Espirito Santo achieved against Newcastle was exactly that, reigniting a spark that had almost vanished, proving that beyond tactics, football is about emotion. For months, West Ham had been losing its sense of self. With each defeat, the memories of the Europa Conference League triumph started to feel like a burden instead of a source of pride. The players went out onto the pitch without energy or joy, just going through the motions. And that's what hurts a club like West Ham the most, when the fans feel that the players don't. It took Nuno to bring back something simple, almost childlike, the reminder of why they started playing football in the first place. The photos of their childhood pinned to the dressing room walls were not just a motivational trick. They were a mirror to the soul. They reminded each player that before the criticism, before the contracts, they were just kids chasing a dream. This kind of idea can't be taught in a coaching course. It's instinct, sensitivity, empathy. The understanding that sometimes a team doesn't need more tactics, it needs more meaning. And meaning is what West Ham have always been built on. From the old days of grit and loyalty to the unity of David Moyes' best era, the West Ham way has never been about beauty. It's been about heart. When a manager brings that feeling back, he changes everything. He might not create stars overnight, but he turns hesitation into belief. The childhood photo gesture was only the beginning. What followed, the effort, the joy, the emotion in every celebration, showed that the players had bought into something bigger than football. And it wasn't about temporary motivation. Nuno created a symbol, something that will stay with the team. Every time they walk into a match, those smiling faces from their past will be there in spirit, reminding them what they play for. In a club that had lost its emotional heartbeat, this is a powerful step forward. There's still a long way to go. The threat of relegation hasn't disappeared, and no single match changes a season. But there's now a sense of direction. What once looked like despair has become purpose. Nuno, once seen as a man under pressure, is now viewed as someone who understands the soul of the club, something that managers before him sometimes lost touch with. By using those childhood photos, Nuno didn't just motivate his squad, he humanized them. That's something modern football desperately needs: humanity. In an age ruled by stats and data, remembering that every player carries a personal story can make all the difference. Because when someone like Lucas Paqueta scores with passion or Thomas Sosek throws himself into tackles like it's the last of his life, it's not just skill, it's identity. It's interesting how his approach mirrors, yet differs from, David Moyes' best work. Moyes built through discipline and structure, through control and routine. Nuno works through emotion and connection, through heart. He doesn't just want the system to work, he wants the people inside it to feel alive. And that's what happened against Newcastle. This wasn't a tactical West Ham, it was an emotional West Ham. Every duel looked personal, every goal looked like a redemption arc. And the crowd felt it. The stadium roared differently that day, not just because of the win, but because something human had returned to the game. Ironically, this new beginning for West Ham might have come from something ancient, a simple wall of childhood memories. That small, almost homemade gesture reminded millionaire professionals of the children they once were. It was symbolic, poetic, and powerful. Because football, in the end, is still a game for dreamers. And if Nuno can keep that spirit alive, West Ham won't just stay up. They'll rediscover who they are. They'll reconnect with the version of the club that wins hearts not because it always succeeds, but because it never stops fighting. That's the spirit fans recognize, the soul that binds the claret and blue, the spirit of believing that deep down, everyone connected to West Ham is still that kid in the photo. So that's all for today, folks. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, leave a comment, share, and of course subscribe to the channel for more. Take care, and I'll see you next time.